Hello and welcome to the Banker's Tech Talk video series, keeping up with the developments in the fintech space. I'm Joy Macknight, Managing Editor at The Banker, and my guest this week is Alex Batlin, CEO of Trustology, which provides a crypto asset custodial wallet platform for individuals and businesses. Alex, thanks so much for joining me today.
Absolute pleasure to be here, thank you.
So can you tell me a little bit about what is driving sort of an increase in crypto scams?
I think the popularity of cryptocurrencies and the brilliant ideas behind it always tends to then drive people who are opportunistic. There's hundreds of really legitimate projects, which personally I think are super exciting, which is what made me join this movement. At the same time, there'll be people who are joining the bandwagon and trying to kind of use it for their own purposes.
Okay, so how does Trustology really help protect crypto assets?
So one of the things that is really important to understand about decentralized blockchains, which is what the technology behind Bitcoin is that really the whole point of it is decentralized, which means that nobody gives you your identity. If you open a bank account, your bank gives you your identity. It tells you that here's your login, username and password, and you log in, and they manage it for you. In a decentralized world, there's no one to give you your identity. So the weird thing about this is that on blockchain, you claim your own identity. How do you claim your own identity without anyone giving it to you? Well, you create what's called a private key. Think of it as a very long random number of ones and zeros. Literally, you just make it up. Or to be precise, the software that you use makes it up for you. And that's the private key. And from the private key, you can create what's called a public key. This is your public identity. And then what's called a public address. An address looks a bit like a bank account number that you give to somebody else to transfer assets to you. And then whenever you wish to move assets from this address to some other address, you have to have the private key, which you originally made up, in order to move them. If you lose that private key or somebody steals that private key, then you effectively lost your assets. So what we do is we actually protect private keys.
But a lot of the issue is around KYC, know your customer, and money laundering, anti-money laundering compliance and regulations. You know, how can the crypto community really better sort of navigate those?
One of the kind of things that most, I think, people who are new to crypto don't understand is probably the worst way of money laundering. Because literally all transactions are publicly available to everyone else. But one of the things that kind of blockchain has done is to say, look, because the transactions are available to everyone, that's the only way we can make them decentralized and distributed, is to make them what's called pseudo-anonymous, which means it's a bit like knowing that a bank account ABC has £20 and bank account CDE has £40. You just don't know who the bank account belongs to. What we are starting to do, of course, is we custody keys, which means we know who the key belongs to, which means we know who the asset belongs to. On our platform, when people sign up and custody keys with us, we also perform KYC, know your client checks on everyone. And then that's part of the requirement of the forthcoming 5th AML directive. And with know your transaction checks, we need to make sure that when assets come into the accounts that are managed by us, or money that leaves accounts that we manage, are not from or to suspicious addresses. So we work with a variety of partners like chain analysis to understand who the money is coming from and where the money is going to. And then we use pretty sophisticated algorithms to also understand if some of the patterns of use match known money laundering patterns. You know, my background is very much banking. I used to work for UBS and BNY, and this is kind of part and parcel of what we used to do in traditional centralized finance. And then we're now kind of combining the brilliant new solutions on decentralized finance with the knowledge of money laundering procedures or anti-money laundering procedures and bring the two together.
Well, thank you so much for your insights, Alex.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.